Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas to everybody! Merry Christmas to everybody! Merry Christmas to everybody! Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas to everybody! Merry Christmas to everybody! Merry Christmas to everybody!
He is making a list and he is checking it twice. He is going to find out who is naughty or nice because the antics never cease in the nation's capital, it seems, even during the holiday season. And while Minty Cohen at the CDC is playing the new grunt that stole Christmas, somewhere near the North Pole, NORAD says they have spotted what looks like a top-secret UFO, unidentified flying object. And probably like most of Santa's elves, he went to Nacht school, a very special Nacht school, where he had learned all about things. Coronaviruses. Well, visions of sugar plums danced in others' heads. Call it zany, call it far-fetched, but a new study somehow suggests that the probability of transmission confirmed for COVID-19 by a reported positive test increased initially linearly with a duration of exposure 1.1% per hour and continued increasing over several days. While according to official guidance at the CDC, the primary means of transmission for COVID-19 is no longer considered to be via droplets, if you're following the science, expelled in coughing, sneezing, breathing, and even singing Christmas carols, but via aerosols, and the smallest very fine particles. And aerosol particles formed when these fine droplets rapidly dry are small enough that they can remain suspended in the air for minutes to hours, but not days. So how possibly could your chances of catching COVID-19 increase during exposure after several days, according to this recent study? At least for now, at the CDC, they are singing Silent Night and electing a dubious right to remain silent. Just published on December 7th, a day that will live in infamy, when Mindy Cohen had issued a new guidance regarding a return to masking up for the holidays. Put it on right over your Christmas Santa Claus beard. Luca Peretti at Oxford University had reported, after examining over 7 million trace contacts, a very robust study, the transmissions typically resulted from exposures lasting 1 hour to several days, median 6 hours, while an N95 is only effective against tear gas for an hour poison gas. And fantastical as it may seem to the CDC, where apparently far more than they do not believe in Santa Claus or God, they remain convinced by the ludicrous proposition that one-ply cotton is impervious to microbial penetration. And Mandy Cohen apparently wants everyone to close their eyes and make a Christmas wish to ignore that even an N95 can filter particles measuring 0.3 microns or larger, while the finest particles transmitting COVID-19 measure as small as 0.25 microns. Little L's, providing them a little wiggle room to bring about a breakthrough infection if a sufficient number of particles were to sneak through. And just to make matters even worse, according to the CDC, the infectious dose of SARS-CoV-2 needed to transmit infection has not yet been established after 3 years, the longest respiratory tract pandemic in history. And the ways that things are going, we may have to settle for the possibility that, like the zoonotic source, we may never know. And this virus has fooled us before. But yet, according to unclassified documents that had been released under the FOIA way back on December 30th, 2015, long before any pandemic, some still unknown senior officials at the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, had in mind a belated Christmas gift for one candidate for Congress in Virginia's 8th Congressional District. And truly a surprise, because this top-secret billet job offer had only been extended to just 3 individual persons. The mission had been, as they say, disavowed or expired. And there is no evidence that the congressional candidate had ever even applied for this unsolicited job offer. Perhaps it was just affirmative action for a top-secret job. It's wholly conceivable, just like anything in Washington these days. And if you thought that was wholly conceivable, nothing short of clairvoyance could have anticipated that around Easter, when those of a Christian faith believe they've been celebrating their holiest of holy days, the folks at DIA appear to have left a little Easter egg, or maybe even had the Holy Spirit fill it up a room, because in an interim response to another FOIA request, they had disclosed that the job that had been offered to the congressional candidate may have been in support of a classified special access program at UNC Chapel Hill, and in defense-related research on recombinant coronaviruses. A job offer not only to a congressional candidate, it seems, but also, as it just so happens, a former biological warfare planner. And all just a few years before the longest respiratory tract infection pandemic in history. And that is just a lot of curiosity, raising coincidences, even for Washington. And hold on to your elf ears or Santa Claus hats and beards for this one, boys and gas, because now even attorneys at the White House, Office of Management and Budget, have gotten involved in this little affair and had apparently been attempting to file a motion to dismiss a case involving yet another FOIA request. And on December 11th, they had admitted that the request had involved what they only now, after over 2 years of not answering, have determined to involve an unknown number of classified documents, not related to the curious job offer in a top-secret billet to the former biological warfare planner, but related to that still unknown infectious host, or the amount of SARS-CoV-2 needed to transmit infection has not been established. The quantity that the impervious one-ply cotton mask would have to block, perhaps just as effective as the safe and effective vaccine that had been developed without that knowledge, or like playing goalie in a championship soccer game. And who doesn't like playing soccer? I like to play a little soccer. And perhaps, just perhaps, the reason why nobody seems to know why these novel aerosols on a novel coronavirus have apparently acquired a gain of function to persist not just for hours, but for days, suspended like little berries, is because if the infectious dose is in fact classified information, then it would have to have been owned and or controlled by the government. And if it had been owned or controlled by the government, well, perhaps this virus that isn't stupid and that has fooled all of us before would have to have been the product of a laboratory that may or may not have just been in Wuhan, from where some have believed, even in Congress, that this novel virus had, escaped.
Merry Christmas to everybody! Merry Christmas to everybody!
This message was approved by Major Mike Webb.